The four divine beasts we see in Breath of the Wild are quite possibly the most powerful creations ever to have been built on the face of Hyrule. Each one can rain down destruction, destroying armies with even their most basic attacks. As we all know, each one of these had a gifted pilot who could control the beast through a metaphysical connection, a connection they are able to maintain even after death. The big question I have for today is what made these four champions so special that they were able to control the beast? And, more importantly, can Link also control them now that the former spirits have moved on? I'm Cornelius Belmont, and let's talk about if Link can control the divine beast. Let's run down a quick timeline of events in Breath of the Wild just so we are on the same page. A mysterious fortune teller comes before the king, informing him about the upcoming return of the Calamity Ganon. He then urges the kingdom to begin excavating ancient Sheikah tech in order to defend itself. Shortly after digging, they begin to find the ancient described Sheikah tech, which includes guardians and the divine beast. So during the time of the excavation around the kingdom, and after the discovery of the divine beast, skilled members of the various races around Hyrule began to be considered as pilots for them. The question is, what qualifies a person to be a champion? Well, fortunately for us, there are some pretty strong clues in the Champion's Ballad DLC of Breath of the Wild. Though, in typical Nintendo fashion, nothing is outright stated. Guess I better start using my player interpretation to make up for their lack of details. As many of you likely know, the Ballad of the Champions DLC involves Link engaging in a series of new quests, all of which eventually give him a motorized vehicle similar to what we would call a motorcycle. Before that though, Link must unlock the final challenge of Master Monk Maz Koshina. Once Link has proven his power using the one-hit obliterator, it breaks apart and reveals four special stone monuments, each of which is located around the homes of four different races. Also drawn to these monuments is the Rito bard Cass, who is on his own journey trying to complete the unfinished song of his master, something he would eventually call the Champion's Ballad. While it's nice to learn about Cass's songs and see more about the beloved champions, it is these structures that is of most interest to me for this video. Each of the monuments display a satellite view of the area, revealing to Link the location of 3 trials he can undertake. Upon completing them, a shrine will be revealed, each one of which functions very similarly to the shrines Link has already taken on. Upon completing these shrines, he will receive a special type of spirit orb, each of which is connected to a divine beast. Finally, he will have a special combat trial, taking place after the 3 orbs are collected. In each one of these, Link has to relive the memory either contained by the divine beast itself, the spirit of its current champion, or maybe somehow within himself, in order to prove his worthiness. This comes in the form of an internal battle that reflects how each of the champions met their demise. Upon clearing the challenge, the champion's ability Link had previously obtained from the respected champion will then upgrade and have a reduced cooldown time. So that's great and all, but let's jump back to my original question. Can Link control the divine beast? Well, to understand that, we need to understand why the champions are able to in the first place. And that comes back to the special stone monuments that Link interacted with. You see, as Link progresses through the trials, Link comes upon a few characters who make note that the trials he is doing are the same trials that each of the champions undertook 100 years earlier. This in turn is reflected in Cass's song. And since we know that when Link completes each one, a Sheikah shrine is revealed, it is reasonable to assume that when each of the champions completed a trial, they too uncovered the same Sheikah shrine. I do find myself questioning how they were able to enter a Sheikah shrine without a Sheikah slate, but it is possible that the shrines open themselves automatically to the champions, perhaps by recognizing their species and clearing the trial. Regardless, if we look into the nature of the trials that Link had to overcome, it seems well in the ability of each of the champions to do it on their own. In fact, much of the trial is tailored very much to each of the champions. Link is actually only able to complete the Zora trial thanks to the Zora tunic that Mipha created for him. So each of the trials is something that each champion seems capable of doing. However, the shrine trial that Link undertakes seems specifically designed with Sheikah ruins in mind. It is possible that each champion had to go through the shrine trial, that their individual abilities may have been able to overcome the challenge presented. For example, many of the flame challenges Link had to undertake may simply have been a challenge of endurance for Daruk. Certain other things, like the need to use Cryonis in order to climb waterfalls, is a bit more suspect. I would say, though, that perhaps the internal structure of the shrine can change based upon the person who enters it. And so for a Hylian, and thus likely the spirit of the hero, it may have been the configuration we see for Link. But for a Goron or a Rito, the configuration may have been different. Regardless of the shrine layout, the initial ability to make the shrine appear, and then the ability to pass whatever monk trial was presented, is something that is within the realm of possibility for each champion to do. As such, each of them would have been gifted with a respected orb, and with the three of them claimed, able to progress to the Divine Beast. From there, it is unclear what their final challenge would have been. Perhaps each champion would have had to have undertook some sort of Sheikah tech creature, maybe even whatever the Blight Ganons are possessing. Regardless of the challenge, each champion overcame it, and then gained their special ability. Now, let's fast forward to the events of Breath of the Wild, when Link clears the Divine Beast, destroying the blight that is inside of it, and freeing the spirit of the trapped champion. They each conjure forth an orb, similar to what we see the monk give Link after completing the Monument Trials. This in turn gives Link the ability of the champions. So with all of that being said, here is my speculation. I believe that when Link gains these orbs from each of the fallen champions, he is effectively being given the keys to control the Divine Beast. He has no real need to do so, or even try, since the spirits of the champions are still there. Plus, all they really do is move the beast into position, so that they can aid the hero in the final fight. If the spirits of the champions were not there, or even if they were willing to hand over control to Link, I believe he could interface with the beast at that moment, and move it just like they could 100 years earlier. Link then goes on to unlock and do the same trials that each of the champions did in the Champion's Ballad, and in turn claims 3 more orbs for each of the beasts from the monks, each of which ends up reducing the recharge time of the champion's power he already received. As such, it seems to me that he indirectly double-dipped on the power-up in a way the monks had not intended. But then again, Maz Koshina only reaches out the Link once all 4 Divine Beasts are cleared. My final thoughts on the intent of those stone monuments were for 2 possible outcomes. Either for a champion of a specific race to come forward and help the chosen hero, as we see depicted in the tales of 10,000 years earlier, or for the hero to come forward and gain control of the most powerful weapons ever to be built on the face of Hyrule. Either way, it seems very likely to me that if Link needed to, he would have the ability to pilot the beast with whatever power he had attained. Perhaps this will be explored more in the sequel, given that in the final scene of the game, Zelda is talking about how Va Ruda has stopped moving. Let's summarize. 100 years before the events of Breath of the Wild, 4 members of the races of Hyrule took up a series of trials, each coming from a mysterious stone monument, which was discovered alongside various other Sheikah technology, including the 4 great Divine Beasts. Upon completion of these trials, they were given emblem orbs based on a specific divine beast, and those in turn gave them their unique powers. In addition to gaining these abilities, they were also now able to pilot and control the divine beast, which led to them eventually being chosen as champions to assist the princess and the hero. 100 years after the downfall, when Link had awoken, he freed each divine beast and their pilots from the control of the Calamity, and in turn each champion passed on their power to Link. This by itself may have given him the ability to control the divine beast, but there was no need to do so since the champion spirits were still around. Upon freeing all 4 of the divine beasts, Link is contacted by Master Monk Maz Koshia, who encourages Link to undergo a special trial on the Great Plateau. Upon completion, the one-hit obliterator breaks apart into 4 lights, each revealing the location of 4 monuments around Hyrule. Investigating them, the Rito Bard Cass informs Link that each champion underwent trials from these monuments 100 years earlier. Link undergoes the same trials, receiving emblem orbs related to the Divine Beast, just as the champions did before him, and finally proves himself in a final test to the Divine Beast itself. As a result, Link should now be able to pilot each of the Divine Beasts if the need arises in the future. Thank you guys for watching the episode. This is a new channel and it will need all the support it can get, so please like and subscribe to help it grow. Going forward, my channel may not be focused entirely on Zelda theories, but considering it is one of my favorite franchises, it's likely to get a lot of the spotlight. In them, I tackle some interesting theories that I've never seen other YouTubers talk about. Feel free to leave your comments below regarding the video, and I will make sure to try to answer them. I welcome all feedback, though I request you keep it constructive. Thanks again for watching. This is Cornelius Belmont signing off.